There we go. I think we're
You
live.
live? Okay, sweet. Hey guys, I'm Will, and this is
I'm
Jack.
Jack. Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about future technologies. So, Jack,
All
what's
right.
future technologies all about?
So, right now, at this moment, as we have been for like the last 50 or so years, it's incredible time for like digital and physical innovation in like our technologies and what's going to be coming in the future. And it's stuff that we've never even seen before. It's just the world is changing so crazily. And that's sort of what we're going to be addressing, some of those areas that are being innovated rapidly.
Yeah. So, I thought I'd start off and talk about a bit about AI.
Yeah.
Do you know much about AI, Jack?
So I know that it's pretty cool to think about. Um,
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know, it sort of really interests me whenever I see something like on my Facebook feed about oh, this new innovation in AI just happened. So
Definitely. Yeah. Um, so there are three types of AI. There's artificial narrow intelligence, which is kind of like Google Maps or like the assistant that you have on your phone can answer very basic questions.
yeah.
Then there's artificial general AI.
Okay. I think I'm losing you just a bit. All right. Let's mind the problems just for a second.
And AI that's on the same level of intelligence. Lagging again.
Yep. Okay. I've got you now, I think.
Just give it a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Artificial AI, which has of intelligent human being, and the super intelligence, which is an AI that has the intelligence many, many, many times more smarter than all of humanity combined. So it's basically like what you think of from sci-fi movies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there's actually a few companies working on AI. There's Google. They've developed an AI called DeepMind, and it's actually done some pretty impressive stuff. Like it's taught itself to walk just using. It hasn't been given anything other than the direction that forward is good, and that's the direction you want to be going. And it's just figured everything else out from there. Um,
That's incredible.
yeah. What else? I think there was another company developing a an AI which can actually fly planes. So I forget the company's name though. But yeah, and that would negate the need for pilots and would get rid of any human error. So it definitely does like make a difference with these sorts of things.
Yeah, that'd be incredible. Sort of like the end goal of having all these things be a lot more safer, more efficient, um, with AIs knowing how to do them.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also Tesla, which kind of segues it into the next topic I'm going to be talking about later. Um, Tesla with their automated driving cars, the cars actually map out the road and it gets sent to a server, and it's basically like a collective of all this information sent from different cars scanning all different roads. So it's building like a map, and
Yeah,
so it knows um, what roads are dangerous where some road lines may be painted a bit poorly, so it knows where the road lines are, and yeah, just a bunch of different things like that.
that's really exciting. That sort of lends into what I wanted to talk about, which was I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find the name of it. There is a drone on the market now called the DJI Mavic.
Mm.
And I believe you have one, correct?
Yeah, I do. I use it for filmmaking and just getting like high up shots, that sort of thing. There's also a set of goggles that which comes with it. It's like a set of VR goggles. It just goes over your face like that, and you can see through like the drone's camera in the goggles.
See,
So
that's
that's
so
really
cool.
cool.
I've been watching the videos of the Mavic, and I can see it like flying itself and navigating around certain trees. And that on its own seems so amazing to me. And then when I went and looked at the price range of it, and it's only around $1,500 to $2,000, which is amazing that there's something this sort of advanced that has almost become normalized as like a consumer thing. You can buy that, like you own one just for personal use at this point. It's not even.
Yeah, like think about back in the day, that sort of thing would have been like something only the military would have. And
Yeah.
now like
Oh, sorry, I'm just losing you once more.
can own that sort of technology. It's crazy.
It's insane. Um, so I think I'm still live, which I'll just check up on. But the other part I wanted to talk about was
Yeah, just give it a minute.
yep.
It'll do this occasionally. It's just my computer.
Yeah, it's okay. So we also have
Are you back?
Yep.
Gonna talk about?
we have drones in a military sense as well. Like this is something that only really started in 2002 and has become absolutely normal. The idea that these essentially robots, a lot of them are packed with AI, they're unmanned in some cases. Well, all drones are unmanned, but some of them are unpiloted. I don't know the word for that. And they're used in warfare as well as our idea of making entertainment with drones. And it's obviously bringing up some questionable ethics, and it will continue to as we go into the future and they become more and more of a common thing in the main part of warfare, where these robots are essentially fighting our battles. And it's just a really interesting sort of conversation to open up.
Yeah, it's like how is a robot going to be able to make the ethical decision to pull the trigger and actually take somebody's life? And will they know, like, they do they have a good idea between right and wrong?
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting thing to think about.
Yeah. Actually, there's
Um,
a question of ethics with autonomous cars as well, which I can bring up once we just sort of address that a bit.
so yeah, we've got self-driving cars. That's actually been a thing for, I'd say, I'm not sure what year like they started developing them, but they've been around for a few years now, and like they've really started to, like, only just now have they started to like actually be used in certain applications. Like a few years back, they only used them for testing, and they were just getting all like the jankiness out of the way, I guess. And yeah, only now they're being used in applications. Like we watched a video earlier today about Uber and how they're bringing in self-driving cars. Granted, they still have to have a person sitting behind the wheel just in case anything goes wrong, but they work for the most part. And it's really cool to see that technologies can actually like drive on roads. It's something that is just amazing.
I think it'll be very fast for like this to grow up into a sort of a normal thing. Like I remember only just a few years ago seeing TV ads where cars could park themselves, and I thought that was like craziness. But now seeing cars actually detecting issues way up ahead and like being able to stop at stoplights, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's really insane. I'm pretty sure my dad's car can do like automatic parking, and he'll do that occasionally, but he still like mistrusts it. Like he still
Yeah.
has to like keep his hands very close to the wheel just in case anything goes wrong. Because it's just like people have this like, I don't know, apprehensiveness when it comes to technology. They don't want to really
All right, I'm losing this again.
Mm,
All right, hello. Okay.
are we good? Hey.
Hey.
Okay, sweet. Anyway, back
Cool.
on track. I was talking about this. Like Uber, it's been developing them for quite some time now, and Tesla is actually making ones for commercial use, so people can buy these cars that can drive themselves, essentially. And
Yeah,
like what
that
I was
is.
talking about with AI, it's all centralized in a database on Tesla's servers. So all the roads and maps, the car knows where to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Similar to with the drone thing, it does bring up a question of ethics, and I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there is this sort of test called the trolley problem, I believe it's called, and it's essentially creating a set of values for the machine, and this is something that has to be addressed as these cars become more and more normal, where like if the car was faced with having to drive into a wall or having to drive into a pedestrian, where the wall would kill the driver, but the driving into the pedestrian would just kill the pedestrian, like which route it has to take. And it's really interesting that this is sort of something that we have to hard program into a machine, because a consumer wouldn't want to buy a car that would drive them into a wall. However, at the same time, we can't really be programming these things to be driving into pedestrians.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's sort of, it'll be very interesting to see like where we end up going with sort of those decisions, those harder decisions.
I think that also brings up an interesting point for AI. I was reading this article earlier today, and it was basically talking about how AI as a measure of like self-preservation. If a super AI learns that it can basically be shut down by humans, it would basically go out of its way to kill off all humans, so that never happens to it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, but it's not like they're not like killing humans out of spite. It's basically like just a survival thing. It's like they're not any more hateful of humans as much as you hate your own hair when you cut it off.
Yeah,
If that
absolutely.
makes sense.
No, that's a really great analogy that you just came up with. There's a book called Superintelligence by someone whose name escapes me right now, but it basically goes through a lot of the problems that we could inevitably have with AI. With, like you're saying, Google's DeepMind has developed a way to learn how to walk, and it's sort of a worrying problem. And in this case, the Superintelligence book leads heavily on the idea that we could, have a sort of AI apocalypse, which I don't personally see as being too possible. But it brings up the idea as well that this is something sort of, it's a new technology, it's potentially dangerous, and it's something that can be worked on by anyone. We could go to like a coffee store and sit there on our Macs and make an AI. And it's crazy that people have that sort of power, and it's becoming more and more common and easier to do. It's almost like an ungoverned form of possibilities. So people have suggested that we should come up with more and more ways of like governing who can create AIs and who works on it and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. Hey, are you back?
Losing you again.
No, it's cool. Actually, I think we're about done here, so that should be good.
But I forgot. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Cool.
I really want to remember what that point was that I was going to talk about.
It's cool. We'll just wrap it up here. It's very good to sort of know, like, there's no real way, in my opinion, to understand what the future of tech is going to be, even in like the next 5 years. It's just, there are things that don't get followed through on, like Google Glass was a big thing that we were sort of promised, and that's sort of faded into obscurity now.
Yeah.
Whereas autonomous cars have sort of come out of the woodworks, and it'll be interesting to see where things go.
I think things that are simple and make your life easier are things that tend not to fade into obscurity. Like Google Glass in concept was a thing that made life easier, but like having this whole like contraption on your face, not many people wanted that, and it could already do things that our phones could do, and our phones were just easier. You just have to take it out of your pocket and use it.
Yeah.
Really make things easier.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you for talking to me today, William.
No worries.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, see ya.
See ya.